It was dinner. You made the food. You put it on the plate. You sat down together like a family is supposed to sit down together. And your toddler looked at that plate, the same food, the same meal you have made 17 times, and pushed it away. Not a bite. Not one bite. And something in you, something tired and worried and a little bit desperate, said it. One more bite. Just one more bite. One more bite and you can be done. Maybe you said it gently, maybe you said it firmly, maybe by the third refusal you said it with a voice that surprised even you. And your toddler clamped their mouth shut, turned their head, pushed the plate further away, started to cry, started to scream, made the entire dinner table a battleground over a single piece of broccoli. And you sat there thinking, why? Why is this so hard? Why does every meal feel like a negotiation? Why will they eat the exact same food on Tuesday, but refuse it on Thursday? Why does the shape matter? Why does the plate color matter? Why does touching different foods on the same plate feel like a crime to them? Am I raising a child who will never eat a vegetable? Am I creating an eating problem that will follow them into adulthood? Is something wrong with them? Is something wrong with me? Am I doing this wrong? Every single night, I need you to stop. And I need you to hear this before the next dinner. The one more bite strategy, the one that feels like the minimum reasonable request, the one that feels like persistence, the one that feels like good parenting, is not teaching your toddler to eat more. It is teaching their nervous system that the dinner table is a place where their body autonomy is overridden. And a nervous system that learns the dinner table means loss of control does not become a better eater. It becomes a more defended one. Drop "this is my dinner table" in the comments right now. Because what I am about to show you is the neuroscience behind every mealtime battle, and the one shift that transforms the dinner table from a battlefield into the thing it was always supposed to be. Before the science, I need to name what you are carrying into every single meal. You are carrying the worry that they are not getting enough nutrition. You are carrying the fear that this is your fault, that somewhere, somehow, you created this. You are carrying the judgment of relatives who say things like, "We never let children be picky," and "they will eat when they are hungry," and you are letting them win. You are carrying the exhaustion of making 2 meals, of cutting crusts, of serving the same 4 foods on rotation because those are the only 4 foods that will not start a war, of watching other children at birthday parties eat everything on the table, while yours eats only the plain pasta with nothing on it, please, and can you take the parsley off because it touched the pasta? You are carrying the quiet fear that this is permanent, that the child who currently eats only beige foods will someday be an adult who cannot function at a dinner table. That you are watching a problem develop in real time and you do not know how to stop it. I need you to hear this. The picky eating is not permanent. The window of food development is longer and more forgiving than anyone has told you. And the strategies that feel like they should work, the one more bite, the "you have to try it," the "no dessert until you finish," are the specific strategies that the neuroscience shows extend the problem rather than solve it. You are not failing. You are fighting with the wrong tools. And tonight, that changes. To understand why your toddler refuses food, you need to understand what food actually is to a toddler brain. It is not nutrition. It is not fuel. It is not something to be grateful for. To a toddler brain, food is a sensory experience, a control variable, and a safety assessment, all happening simultaneously before the first bite ever reaches their mouth. Let me explain each one. The sensory experience. Research from the Monell Chemical Senses Center, the world's leading institution on taste and smell science, shows that toddlers have significantly more taste receptors than adults. Not the same number, more. Specifically, children under the age of 5 experience flavor intensity at levels that would be overwhelming to an adult palate. The broccoli that tastes mildly bitter to you tastes intensely, almost aggressively bitter to them. The texture of a food that feels neutral in your mouth can feel genuinely distressing in theirs. The smell of a food that is pleasant to you can be physiologically overwhelming to a toddler's highly sensitive sensory system. This is not preference. This is biology. Dr. Lucy Cooke at University College London, whose research on food neophobia has been cited in pediatric nutrition guidelines across 12 countries, found that what adults call picky eating is, in the majority of cases, a sensory processing difference. Not a behavior problem, not a discipline problem, a sensory reality. The control variable. Dr. Ellyn Satter, whose division of responsibility model is now used by pediatric dietitians in over 40 countries, identified something that changes everything about how you approach the dinner table. Food is one of the only variables in a toddler's life over which they have complete physical control. You control the schedule, you control the clothing, you control where they go, when they sleep, when they leave the park. A toddler's entire existence is managed by adults making decisions about their body and their day. But what goes into their mouth? That their body can control. Their mouth is theirs. Their refusal is one of the only forms of genuine autonomy available to a 2-year-old or 3-year-old in a world where almost everything is decided for them. When you fight for one more bite, you are not fighting about broccoli. You are fighting about autonomy. And a toddler's nervous system will defend autonomy with everything it has. Because autonomy over one's own body is a fundamental safety signal. The battle is never about the food. The safety assessment. Research from Dr. Gillian Harris at the University of Birmingham shows that toddler food neophobia, the rejection of new or unfamiliar foods, peaks between ages 2 and 6 and serves a specific evolutionary function. It is protective. Before the age of modern kitchens and food safety standards, a toddler who ate only familiar, recognizable, previously survived foods was a toddler less likely to be poisoned. The rejection of new food is not stubbornness. It is a protective instinct so deeply wired into the human nervous system that it shows up consistently across every culture studied. A new food is, to the toddler brain's threat assessment system, an unverified item, something that has not yet been confirmed safe by repeated exposure. The rejection is the nervous system doing exactly what it evolved to do. And here's the piece that changes everything. Research shows that a child typically needs between 10 and 15 exposures to a new food, not bites, exposures, before their brain's safety assessment registers it as familiar enough to accept. Not 10 force-fed bites, 10 neutral, low-pressure, no-stakes encounters with the food being present. The one more bite strategy bypasses this process entirely. It does not accelerate the safety assessment. It activates the threat response. And a food associated with threat, with pressure, with a raised voice, with the loss of autonomy, becomes a food that the nervous system now has additional reasons to reject. You are not making them eat the broccoli. You are making the broccoli the enemy. And that is the neuroscience problem that has a neuroscience solution. Pillar 1. The division of responsibility. Dr. Ellyn Satter's division of responsibility model is the most research-supported framework in pediatric nutrition. It has been validated across decades of clinical practice and is used as the standard approach in pediatric dietetics worldwide. It is also the most counterintuitive thing a worried parent will ever hear. The framework is this. You are responsible for what food is offered, when it is offered, and where eating happens. Your toddler is responsible for whether they eat it and how much. That is the complete division. 2 jobs, clearly separated, no overlap. Your job ends at the plate. Their job begins at the plate. The moment you cross into their territory, the moment you say one more bite, the moment you track how much they've eaten, the moment you bargain or reward or threaten, you have taken their job from them. And a toddler whose job has been taken becomes a toddler who has lost the one area of control available to them. The research is specific. Children who eat in a division of responsibility household, where parents reliably provide without pressure, and children reliably decide without battle, show significantly broader food acceptance by age 6 than children in pressure-based eating environments. Dr. Jennifer Fisher at Temple University followed 197 families across 4 years and found that children of parents who use controlling feeding practices, including encouragement to eat more, rewards for eating, and pressure to try new foods, showed measurably more restricted diets at follow-up than children whose parents used the division of responsibility approach. Read that again. The children whose parents pushed harder ate less variety. The one action starting today. Set the table. Put the food down. Include one thing you know they will eat. And then, stop. Do not watch how much they eat. Do not comment on what they choose. Do not negotiate. Do not celebrate. Do not react. Your job is done at the plate. Pillar 2, the exposure ladder. The second pillar works with the 10 to 15 exposure requirement, not against it. Because here is what 10 to 15 neutral exposures actually means in practice. It means a new food needs to appear at the table repeatedly, without pressure, without expectation, without consequence, until the toddler's nervous system has had enough calm encounters with it to move it from the unverified category to the familiar category in its safety database. The exposure ladder has 5 rungs. Each rung is a step in the safety assessment process. You do not control how quickly your toddler moves up the ladder. You control only whether the ladder exists. Rung 1. Food is present in the environment. On the plate, on the table, in the room. Not on their plate necessarily. Present. Their nervous system registers it as a recurring, non-threatening element. Rung 2. Food is touched. They pick it up, they put it down, they throw it. This is progress. This is sensory data being collected. The texture is being assessed. This is not playing with food. This is the nervous system doing its safety work. Rung 3. Food reaches the mouth without going in. They smell it, they lick it, they press it against their lips and put it back. This is a major rung. This is enormous. This is the olfactory and gustatory system collecting safety data that the brain will use in the next encounter. Rung 4. Food enters the mouth and comes back out. They try it. They spit it out. Parents who celebrate this as a victory and then immediately say, "Now swallow it," undo the rung. The spit out is allowed. The spit out is progress. Rung 5. Food is eaten. After 10 to 15 neutral exposures across the previous rungs, the safety assessment completes. The food is familiar. The nervous system approves. The one action starting today. Choose one rejected food. Put a small portion on the table, not on their plate if that creates battle, every meal for 2 weeks. Say nothing about it. React to nothing. Let the exposure ladder do the work. Research from Dr. Lucy Cooke's group showed that children whose parents used a no-pressure repeated exposure protocol accepted target foods at a rate 3 times higher than children in control groups over an 8-week period. 3 times higher. By doing less, not more. The third pillar addresses the control variable directly. Because if the dinner table is where a toddler fights for autonomy, the solution is not to fight harder. The solution is to build autonomy into the dinner table, so there is nothing left to fight about. Autonomy architecture means designing the mealtime environment so that genuine choice exists within the structure you have set. Not unlimited choice, not a restaurant. Not, "What do you want for dinner?" That question creates anxiety, not autonomy, because it places a decision with too many variables onto a nervous system not yet built to handle open-ended decisions. Structured choice. Bounded choice. 2 options, both acceptable to you. Do you want the broccoli on this side of the plate or that side? Do you want your cup here or there? Do you want to put the food on your plate yourself, or should I do it? Do you want to try one bite or just smell it tonight? Every one of these questions does the same thing. It returns the autonomy to the toddler within the structure you have already set. The food is still broccoli. The dinner is still happening. But their nervous system is no longer in defense mode because they have been given back the control that food refusal was trying to claim. Dr. Brian Wansink at Cornell's Food and Brand Lab, whose research on environmental eating behavior has influenced school nutrition policy across the United States, found that children given structured choice at mealtimes consumed 34% more variety than children presented with non-choice meals over a 6-week period. 34% more variety. Not because the food changed, because the experience of the dinner table changed from threat to choice. And there is one more piece of the autonomy architecture that changes the long game entirely. Involve them in the food before it reaches the table. Research from the Garden to Table program, published in the Journal of Nutrition Education, found that children who participated in preparing a food, washing it, tearing it, stirring it, placing it, were significantly more likely to taste and accept that food than children who had no contact with the food before it appeared on their plate. The preparation is not a chore. It is an early rung on the exposure ladder. It is the nervous system beginning its safety assessment in the safest possible context, while in control of the food, not being asked to eat it. Let them wash the broccoli. Let them tear the lettuce. Let them stir the sauce. Let them put the food on the plate. They will not always eat it, but they will build a relationship with it that is built on familiarity and control, not pressure and threat. Validate first, regulate together, reason after. This principle, which you learned in our last video, applies at the dinner table exactly as it applies on the kitchen floor with the broken cracker. The dinner table battle is a regulation battle in disguise. The next time you set that plate down, and they push it away, I want you to remember one thing. The refusal is not defiance. It is not ingratitude. It is not a preview of who they are becoming. It is a nervous system doing exactly what it was built to do: assessing safety, protecting autonomy, rejecting what has not yet been confirmed as familiar. And you are not losing a battle about broccoli. You are building a dinner table that their nervous system will eventually learn is safe, is predictable, is a place where their body is theirs and their choices are respected within a structure that loves them. That takes time. More time than one more bite would give you. But it gives you something that one more bite never can. A child who grows up knowing that food is safe, that their body's signals are respected, that the table is a place for connection rather than combat. The picky eating phase does not last forever. But the relationship your child builds with food, with their own body, with their own hunger and fullness signals, with their own capacity to try new things from a place of safety rather than fear, that lasts. That lasts. Do you have a picky eater right now? Drop their age and their safe food list in the comments, because the pillar that matters most shifts depending on exactly where they are in the exposure window. Watch next, immediately, why your toddler won't listen. Because the autonomy science you just learned at the dinner table is the exact same nervous system driving every "I don't want to" and "no" in your house. And the 3 pillars work together across both. At Parenting IQ, we don't raise children. We architect legacies.